Hello, my name is Abigail Schlater, and I'm going to show you how to set up a DOS scoring for baseball and softball. First, you'll need to open up your scoring tab, and that is located at the bottom right here on your Windows Start menu. In order to set up a game, you first need to enter your game scorebook, so you'll click B. You'll be shown this screen, and you can just click Enter, and then you can click Enter again. Then you'll be given to the main menu, where you'll need to click on the game setup, and then game info. Now, for place, you would of course list where you are, and for stadium, you would list where you're playing at. Now, for a key reminder, the date will always be the current date that it is. So if you're setting up a game a few days in advance, you're going to want to make sure that you specifically write the correct date there. It'll always show up with 9 batters for each, and then there will always be an option to add a flex in later once you are updating your roster. If any of your teams are ranked, you would put it here, and just like I put in 9 for visitors and nothing for home. Since this is typically used for both baseball and softball, the default number of scheduled innings is always going to be 7, since softball only does 7 each game. If you would need to do 9, you would just put 9 there. The DH rule is always a yes. The neutral site is always no. Night game is always listed as no. League game is always listed as yes. And for your DH game, that would either be, if it's a double header, you'd put 2 for the second game, 1 for the first game. But if it's not either of those, then you would just put 1 still. Now, a key thing to remember is that if you're not using the DH rule, you would need to click N instead of entering through for the next one. And the same goes for the neutral site, the night game, and the league game. Next, you'll list in the umpires' names, where I'm just going to put umpires. And then you'll need to enter through there and put start time, so my imaginary game will be held at noon. The weather, I typically don't add the weather in. If you would, you could do cold and rainy. That's typically something that you're going to want to do at a tournament level, so then your SIDs know exactly what to write in their story, but typically you don't put that unless it is a tournament style game. For chart view, you normally want to leave it as the pitcher because that's how the typical look will show, especially for you're translating it onto the internet. Next, you're going to want to put your teams in. So you go to team roster, select team, visiting team. I'm just going to select the first 2. And the roster has been selected, which means that you could now put the roster. What I did right then was I just added the home team. It's the exact same setup. In order to get out of anything in the DOS scoring, you just need to hit your escape button. The next thing you would do would be to receive the lineup cards, and then you would just add up lineup cards. You can always see on the right over here is the roster. So if a coach would just put the player's name and not their number for some reason, you could always see what their number is and be able to put that in. So we'll just put 12 as the first person I saw, so B. Wilson is gonna be at our number 5 spot. And if you see there, it automatically changes it to third base because it knows what to do. Now, because I'm entering through, it added the first person, and it automatically puts the slash for the flex if you're only using 9 players. So I'm just gonna escape out of there because you would normally put your real lineup. And now in order to save this, you need to escape once more to go to that original main menu. Go down to File, Save Game, and we typically save ours with our school name as 3 letters, the sport for 2 letters, and then the number of the game that it currently is. Since I'm not saving this, I'm going to escape out of there. Something I will show you is that if you enter a name incorrectly, you must enter a value, and this will help you. The DOS scoring is really good at that, actually. They typically have exactly what you need to do, and it walks you through it. So you saved your game and you did it 3 days in advance because you were bored at work and you just decided to do that. So whenever it gets to the game day, you're going to need to load that file, and you'll still go to this main menu, and instead of doing a game setup again, you'll just go down to File, Load Game, and then you'll load the first game, or you'll load the game. So you'll load the game number that it would be. You'll click on it and it will load, and everything will show up the way that it should. To exit out of DOS scoring, you either click Q or you go down to quit and you enter, and then again you just hit escape to exit. I hope that this has been informational for you and that it helps you with all of your DOS scoring needs.